Hello, everyone. We want to take this opportunity to say thank you. As you grow at the Golden Boot, so do our needs, but we cannot do it without you. We ask that you continue to like our posts, share our content, and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and other social media platforms. You may also visit thegoldenboot.com for the latest merch. If you would like to make a financial donation, you can do so through Cash App at @GoldenBoot or through PayPal at paypal.me/GoldenBoot. We look forward to bringing you more laughs, knowledge, and entertainment. And again, thank you for your endless support. Sincerely and respectfully, the Golden Boot team.
The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back to another edition of the HBCU Hour. It's your boy Pooh Bear. I got my man Aunt Petty Murphy in the building. We got Daniel D. Williams in the building. And we got a special guest, Mr. BJ Jones from the Black College Sports Network. Welcome back to the HBCU Hour. Thanks for joining us again, BJ.
Oh man, thank you for having me. Thank you, studio audience.
So, BJ, we knew we had to have a Southern man on Bayou Classic week.
Yes, sir.
That's what it is.
It is. And it means something again this year. We'll get to that.
Sir, it always means something. It always means something.
Okay.
Always.
Okay. All right.
You got your Southern man and you got your Grambling man.
Yeah.
Tell me.
We'll say
You be rapping Grambling hard though.
I'm not. I do, but I'm not a Grambling. I'm not going to disrespect the people who actually went to Grambling, alumni, and people like that, claiming to be, a member of Grand Fam when I'm not. But yeah, I'm gonna represent for them today though.
No, I got you. Hey, I like how you said trip.
Cut his mic off.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, man. First, let's recap what went on, what transpired, and why this game has more significance than normal. Is that better?
That's a little better.
Okay, we'll go like that. First off, I want to say it is Thanksgiving. I want to say thank y'all to everybody who's tuning in and commented. Let's get it. What's good, Roderick? Hey, Miss Shannon. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for always tuning in and your support. Roger, I ain't gonna even try to translate.
I don't know what Roger. Retype that one and try it again.
Roger, hey, Roger, I think I messed up because I read it in your voice and I heard you.
So, DJ, how long you been there?
Yeah.
And do you tending this my cousin? What?
All in a hot pot restaurant. I don't know, y'all. Yeah, we got all.
What's happening, Nick?
Hey, everybody started drinking early today.
Yeah, I see. But
yo,
all right, here we go. So Jackson State, the Soul Bowl against Alcorn, excuse me. They survived 24-13. Not fully on the back of, but Travis Hunter contributed on both sides of the ball. He had a touchdown catch. I think he had two catches and one was a touchdown, and he had a pick six as well. So showing flashes of the greatness that we heard all about that had Florida State jealous.
The whole state of Florida.
The whole state of Florida, yeah. Okay, here you go. Roger says, BJ, how long you been there, and do you remember my cousin Ryan Broussard from the 08 recruiting class?
Oh man, oh wait, I was gone, man. I graduated in '06.
Okay, so
But I do remember Ryan Broussard though.
okay, so there you go, Roger. There you go. So
Back to
continuing. Okay, go ahead. Back to the game. Go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say, considering that Alcorn really couldn't pass the ball at all, I think the fact that they was able to keep it such a close game for most of the game kind of says a lot about their defense. And they held Jackson State to 17 points offensively, which I don't think many people thought that they would be like that going into this game, and nobody has really been able to do that to Jackson State offense. So I think Alcorn is really just a passing game away from being able to really truly make an upset out of this.
Another thing about it, Coach Prime said he said it Monday in the presser that they kept throwing Travis on the side. So they just kept testing. They kept testing. He said, I don't know why people keep testing him, but they kept testing him. He said he thinks it's an ego thing. So yeah, that's it went on, resulted in a touchdown the other way. So yeah, but
I mean, you gonna get tested. He's still a freshman. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we know he's talented, but at the end of the day, you still got to come up and get the job done.
And they were successful over there too. Yeah. You can't leave that part out.
I mean, Hunt still had a day. I mean, he still got 100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they still balled out.
So I see Xavier's in here lying already. Said, fellas, I promise not to act up tonight. Maybe. Nah, you
boy.
We can stop all that line.
Act up your middle name.
FAMU. FAMU rolled through Bethune-Cookman in the Florida Classic. I think I sent out a tweet, or Bethune-Cookman sent out a tweet, and I read it wrong because when I looked at it, I was like, "Ooh!" I said, "Bethune up 27-7 on FAMU." I read it wrong. FAMU was up 27-7 on Bethune, and Bethune put out touchdown. Bethune, we got some work to do.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, but I think that might have been Kamari Avery's best game this season. He was about 50 yards receiving and a touchdown. So you finally starting to see what we thought we was going to see all year long out of him.
Yeah. I mean, a shout out to Musa. Musa played a really good game. QBR was very high. Of course, I know we'll discuss this later, but man, I hate that they got to go out like that. But I mean, they played a pretty good game. Shout out to them.
Willie Simmons was in his bag as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Willie Simmons was on Saturday.
Yeah.
that what was it? Was it a reverse pass or what? Back to
reverse pass.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that boy pulling out everything. I guess he was trying to make a statement in a sense,
Yeah.
Considering what we're gonna talk about later, but
yeah. Right. I mean, do y'all want to touch on it now? I mean, we brought it up.
We can.
Might as well. We're here.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, FAMU got snubbed by the playoff committee. Basically, FAMU finished the rankings ranked number 20. In the FCS playoffs, there are 24 teams. And although FAMU was ranked number 20, they were not selected for the FCS playoffs. And it was kind of bad. We kind of talked about it last night on Down South Football Podcast. Shout out to Renard and those guys. But the worst part about it is the story. I guess the story that I found out about later, and you brought up about one of the members of the committee is the AD at Montana, and that's normal because it happens on in the FBS side as well. But Montana got in, and Montana
over some teams that said, I think Montana was 7-4, and they got in over FAMU and some other. I'm not just it ain't just about FAMU. And obviously that's what we're talking about, but Montana got in over more than just FAMU, who was more deserving than Montana was. And when you consider the fact that the athletic director is on the committee, it's bad optics. I'm not accusing them of any fun. It just don't look good, man. But I understand people gonna use the the strength of schedule argument against FAMU. But my thing is, like we talked about last night, Pooh. I mean, they played the number 5 team in FCS, Jackson State, week 2. And the game before that, they played a team that's playing in the ACC championship game this weekend. Well, next weekend in North Carolina. So you're basically saying their strength of schedule is weak because of the conference that they play in. And to me, it's a backhanded. It's basically a backhanded. I ain't gonna say compliment. It's basically a slap in the face to the SWAC. It's saying that y'all as a conference are substandard compared to the Southland or compared to some of these other FCS conferences, and because of that, FAMU's not getting in because they don't play this conference schedule that some of these other teams plays, and it's ultimately it's a bunch of BS, bro. FAMU they're a top 25 team and they should be in the playoffs, and by winning 9 straight games has shown that they're capable of beating almost anybody in FCS, and they deserve a shot at the playoffs.
Yeah,
right. My thing is, has this happened to any other team before?
Yes.
South Carolina State.
Yeah,
South Carolina State 2019.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, Coach Simmons brought up. He brought that up on the SWAC media conference. It happened to North Carolina A&T. I want to say in 15. It happened to South Carolina State in 2019, and then it happened again to FAMU.
And FAMU made it last year with the same record and a schedule that wasn't as difficult. Honestly.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm FAMU, it's like what? I mean, after the first 2 games, should we just have stopped playing? The season? What doesn't matter? We're not going to be able to compete after we lose to Jackson State and after we lose to North Carolina. What's the point of us even continuing this season if y'all not even going to give us an opportunity?
I'll keep it a buck because I vote on an FCS poll. I'll keep it a buck. One of the things that helped FAMU last year is they had a win over South Carolina State, who won the MEAC. That gives you a win over a conference champ. South Carolina State did FAMU no favors this year. I was shocked that Montana got in, but when you look at Montana's, 3 of their losses were 1 possession games to top 10 teams. They're gonna give you the benefit of the doubt when you're playing against the top 10. And with FAM, the thing that hurts them as of right now, their best win is Alabama State, ranked 53rd, or Southern, ranked 56th. They don't have a top 40 win. That hurts you. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a guy that played in the SWAC, but I'm also keep it gangster. There's room to be improved. The SWAC is not one of the top conferences in the FCS. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not. It ain't. We got a ways to go. And my desire is for it to be that. And to be that, we got to schedule some of these teams in the off season. So when these questions come up, and there's who do we put in the playoffs? This team or that team? You can't deny us because we've kicked you behind in the regular season too, and there's nothing that you can say. But when you start looking at that non-conference record, and also, man, people say that you're not supposed to look at last year. FAM didn't do themselves no favors by going to Hammond and getting blown out last year.
That's true.
By a Southeastern team that was not good.
I agree with you, but about the SWAC not being up to par with everybody. But so you're basically punishing FAMU for the conference they play in because they can't control the strength of their conference. But what they can control is their non-conference, and they scheduled the ACC team, a conference champion last year in South Carolina. I know you can't go off last year, but when they made the schedule going into the season, South Carolina State was a conference champion, and everybody thought they would be contending for a conference championship again. So basically, in hindsight, South Carolina State let them down, but Albany State, they're the D2 school, but you got they're playing the ACC. So if you're saying they would be better off playing, Stephen F. Austin week 1 instead of UNC.
They will have, because the thing about it, when you start talking about those FBS games, if you lose, they don't hurt you. If you win, they help you.
Yeah.
So they didn't get anything. But let's say if FAMU played Prairie View's non-conference, FAMU's in the playoffs. No ass, but
even though Lamar is terrible, you know what I mean? Like,
you got Incarnate Word, you got a top 10 team now.
That's true. But so that's what I'm saying. So Incarnate Word playing Incarnate Word trumps playing North Carolina.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. I mean, from the way that the committee looks at it, it does.
That makes sense.
if you win it, it helps you. If you lose it, then they're gonna count it against you.
So even if you're competitive without 26 players, that don't help you.
No.
I don't think they even look that far. Because I'm be honest with you, the reason why I say that, and I'm looking at this from the FBS side. A lot of times, because there are so many teams, people don't look at who's played who or what's going on outside of that. A lot of times because people don't know, they just look at, may look at a box score or may look at a write-up real quick and be like, okay, check the mark, whatever, however, that's how I know it goes on the FBS side. I'm sure on the FCS side it's not too far off from that. So
it's the same way. Man, people look at box scores. Because if you look at the box score of the North Carolina game with FAMU, you look at it and say, hey, man, North Carolina still won, by 34?
Mm-hmm.
You're not looking at how competitive that game was midway to, through the third quarter.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, what do you guys think about that Albany State game, too? I know the
– That hurt them. Them.
Right.
These two games hurt you.
Okay. So why even schedule a game like that if you know that it's not going to play in your favor? It's just like, what coaches do whenever it's time for the NCAA March Madness tournament. They make sure they schedule. Go ahead.
You may not necessarily know, saying that.
Yeah.
It's for instance, and I hate to keep bringing up FBS, but I know a lot of people, a lot more people understand from the FBS side. It's like when Alabama played Miami. When they first initially scheduled it, that looks like that's going to be a big game. Mm-hmm. But then when the game is played, it's like, really? This is who you choose to play, So.
And also, man, you play Albany State, man. That's a FAMU and Albany State are old SIAC rivals. They're close to each other. That's one of them. That's one of those, man. You go check the revenue box because Albany State is gonna bring a lot of people. Yeah. You got FAMU and Albany, state people in the same family. That's a good outing right there.
Right. Right, but in totality, it doesn't help your program any.
Yeah, it don't help you.
Yeah.
All right. Just want to hit up the comments real quick. Chuck says checking in from Monroe. Thanksgiving Eve. Happy Thanksgiving. It's a great week for me. His birthday is on Black Friday. Happy birthday. Happy early birthday, Chuck. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you for always tuning in. And you're going to be broke on your birthday. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just talking.
My man, Chuck right there.
Yeah. C Trey 193 said my favorite podcast. What up, fam? What's good, Trey? Appreciate you coming in. And then our niece and aunt daughter say happy Thanksgiving Eve. What's good? Dave from the DSF fam. Happy Thanksgiving. Me and Noah about to drop these turkeys. And we about to kick Tuck out. Appreciate y'all for stopping in. All right. But moving on.
Hey, read all the comments. You're gonna read all the comments. Read the comments, man.
You want to okay.
Read all the comments.
Checked in, honey. She's talking to us.
She's talking to the podcast. Checked in. All right.
I ain't her honey, so she ain't talking to me.
Yeah. Man, she's talking to one of y'all. Y'all better clear it up, man. My wife watching this.
We know.
Yeah, clear that up.
He want to be seen so bad. Glad. Anyway,
I'm here. Come on.
Prairie View was stunned by Mississippi Valley State.
Ooh.
I don't think any of us saw that coming.
Zach did.
He did say that. He did mention it. Zach
he did mention that.
Well, he said they beat them last year, and he talked about the fact that they had to go to Mississippi Valley. You know what I mean? So I think that they found a number somewhere, somehow. They know they got something where they could play against Prairie View. But it's 2 in a row for them, man. So shout out to Dancy and them for finishing the season out strong, man.
They might know their hand signals. You never know.
So that was part 1 of the wild ride of the SWAC West. Alabama A&M rallies late to beat Texas Southern, down 20-3 in the fourth quarter. Alabama A&M came back and scored 3 touchdowns, led by the screams of David Gardner, all from his couch. The Bulldogs marched back. Andrew Body had a fumble late in the game that was crucial.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to win the West, bro.
Nobody.
Yeah.
So.
Now, for the people who don't know, how big of a game that was, Texas Southern losing that game.
Because with Prairie View losing, Texas Southern wins, they would have been the
they be going to Jackson next week.
Right.
But now the door is open for that team down south to make it to Jackson next week.
Yeah. So here we are back at where we started. The loss by Prairie View, Texas Southern opened the door for Southern to win the SWAC West with a win in the Bayou Classic. Now, when I hit you up, BJ, we talked about this. I mentioned this to you. When you weren't here last time, we said, hey, we said, hey, like Southern, you know what I'm saying, on their way. They got a chance to make it. You said, well, it's some things gotta happen, it's not a done deal. I don't think that this is exactly what you meant. But that's exactly what happened because it's I don't know what was wilder. The SWAC West or everybody, saying fighting not to be number one in the MEAC.
Right.
Man, look, man, it's I knew that we were coming down and it was gonna be crazy after Texas Southern beat Alcorn. And then when Alcorn went to Prairie View and beat them, I was like, yeah, this thing is gonna get real crazy. And I was just like, man, I don't think this thing gonna be decided until the last weekend. And going into last week, man, I felt like Alabama A&M was gonna beat Texas Southern, but I did not feel like Prairie View was gonna lose to Mississippi Valley until Thursday. One of my bands hit me up and was like, hey man, they're supposed to have like sleet in the wintry mix up at Mississippi Valley. I'm like, on that playing surface?
Right.
Okay. All right, we can do this. And so I tuned in, man, to watch both of the games, and Prairie View jumped out quick, and I was like, okay, man, it is what it is, man. It's a good season, man. We'll take the 7 wins and take it on to the house. And then, man, like, I turned to Texas Southern, Alabama A&M. They say no, Prairie View's up 17-7. And it looks like Texas Southern is about to get it done. Everybody going into the end zone, about to make it 27-7, and lo and behold, touchback, and nothing was the same. And now, man, we here. Yeah, he did.
He got hurt in there, so
yeah, man.
Shout out to Xavier Langford, who had a day.
To
bring that back. So that was,
And I would say honestly, even though they fumbled the ball, if Body would have never got hurt, I think they still probably would have ended up pulling it off.
Yeah.
So losing him too definitely hurt him.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
Y'all called me slow. Y'all can call me slow. Listen, I did not realize Body was a sophomore.
Oh yeah, only a sophomore.
Yeah.
I'm thinking junior, senior, and I just so happened to look him up, and I was like, "We got 2 more years."
Yes, sir.
Nice.
SWAC it's finna be interesting. What's good, Marv? Thank you for tuning in.
Why your dad call you slow, bro?
Josh Johnson, what's up, fellas? And Real say slow. No mind. No comment. I know who I get it from. I know what side of the family I get it from. Speaking of slow, hey Dylan.
That boy crazy, bro.
That was an interesting segue.
That was. Your daddy called you slow, and you call your son slow.
Yeah, he had to pass it on. He had to keep passing it on.
I know I passed it on. I know.
3 generations of. I'm not gonna say it. You say it.
But on the MEAC side, this side is been wrapped up. At least we thought. Campbell beats Delaware State. North Carolina Central beats Tennessee Tech. Howard beats Morgan State and is now crowned co-champs of the MEAC.
Hey, Howard making some noise, man.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming.
No, I didn't.
Let me tell y'all, man. Look, I understand why conferences do this. It helps for the postseason. You said I got a co-champ when you had a playoff discussion. I'm a co-champ, you get in. I get it. But in this case, Howard with 5 wins and I understand, and they lost by 30 to North Carolina Central. Howard calling themselves the co-champ is the equivalent. You remember when Red and Debo had their little disagreement about the beach cruiser?
Yeah.
And then Red was just like, it's both of ours, we're just going to keep it down at my house. That's this. Man, we know who the beach cruiser belonged to.
Yeah. Right.
That was when I saw that, because I'm gonna tell you what brought my attention to it. It was tweets going out of Howard with a MEAC co-champs, and a lot of people were like, "What? I thought this was done last week." Yeah. So I don't know. BJ, you say this, and I get what you're saying. How people try to. The Big 12 got burned by this.
Yeah.
2014. 2014.
I thought it was a lot sooner than that.
No,
they did it a couple of times. They've done it a few times over there in the MEAC.
Yeah. So this is crazy. Yeah. All right, Dan, you better slow your roll. All right, Norfolk State beats South Carolina State 42-38. Talking about hero to zero real fast. South Carolina
from first to worst.
That's crazy.
Celebration Bowl champs last year, and now has been beaten by everybody from coast to coast. They only win. Well, I ain't gonna say they only win. They did beat North Carolina Central.
They did.
Yeah, that's their only conference win.
And then it was downhill from them.
Yep.
Very interesting. Very interesting how
it's that NIL money, man, messing up the locker room.
Boy, stop. Stop, boy.
That's crazy though.
Yeah. So, I don't know what to say about that one.
They lost 4 straight, man, to lose the season, man. And honestly, like Miss Nikki said, the biggest collapse of the season. I think you definitely got to consider them one of the biggest collapses in HBCU football when you look at the expectations going into the season, how they started conference play, and where they ended up. I mean, nobody saw that coming at the beginning of the season. So I don't know what your cousin got going on over there, Pooh, but it was a rough season for him this year, man. He's gonna have to do a lot of work this offseason to get it back on track.
Thoughts and prayers. Division II playoffs. We talked about this last week about that bracket was brutal.
Yeah.
You talking about the black bracket?
The black bracket. Because all the HBCUs were in one side. In one bracket, Wingate beat Virginia Union 32-7. Delta State demolished Fayetteville 51-0.
Delta State different, dog.
They are.
And it was not, I mean, and then it was like, and then there was one. And the only reason
they got a bye.
They had a bye week. So man, so yeah, that was interesting.
They hold it down for all the HBCUs, by themselves.
I hope so. Coach Chennis Berry, former Southern assistant. Benedict keeps rolling. I'm gonna keep saying that until it ain't true.
I mean, they match up pretty well. I mean, Benedict, of course, has a pretty good running game, but hopefully they can run the ball on them.
Benedict, I think what separates Benedict from a lot of these teams, Benedict's defense.
Yeah.
Tough. Right.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
So that's really going to be big, especially this week. They do have, because they are the top seed or a top seed, they got Wingate at home this week. So sending much support, love, to them, hoping they can pull this off. This will be big.
Yeah.
I think they got it this week, though. No, I was just going to say, I think they're going to pull it off this week.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they run into the winner of Delta State, and I forget who Delta State moved on to play, but
the Delta State play West Florida.
Yeah.
Once they get through Wingate, they're going next week is when we're really gonna see what Benedict made of.
Yeah,
shit, this week too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right. Chuck, then me at Mike. Chop laughing. Chuck, it's like P said, there's a guy from my area on the football team at Delta State named Wyatt Williams from Lake Providence, Louisiana.
Yeah, he was the quarterback for General Trask. Had them boys rolling the last few years. He kid athlete, kicking ball for real.
Yeah. Well, I wish him the best of luck next year. Not this week.
Yeah, except for whenever you playing Benedict.
Yeah. So I mean, like, anyway. Isaiah Land went ahead and put out a tweet today, making no questions about it. He is declaring for the draft. I think what he's put on film has shown he can do it at the next level. He was very coveted by a lot of teams. He actually went into the portal at the end of last season, decided to stay at FAMU. But a lot of teams were looking to grab him. I wish him the best. We will get to see him one more time, I guess, quote unquote, collegiately in the, what is it called? East West in Las Vegas.
East West game.
So we'll get to see him there.
I just wish we would have got to see him versus North Carolina.
My God, tell me about it.
Yeah.
I wish we really would have got to see him just without any of the. I wish we could have, and we talked about this last week. FAMU is always that what if. Yeah. I really wish we could have got to see them full, no distraction, full strength, no distractions from start to finish.
And then not just that, but if I feel like if FAMU doesn't play Jackson State week 2, if they catch them week 8, week 7 during the season, it might be a different game.
Right? Yeah.
So, I keep bringing up the SEC media session. They asked about that. They talked about that because that game is actually supposed to be changed.
Yeah, they're moving it.
They're moving it. There's supposed to be there's a contract for Jackson State to be in the Orange Blossom Classic at least one more year, and then they can put a different team or whatever. And Coach Simmons said that his biggest thing is he doesn't want this. He still wants it to be a SWAC game or a HBCU. I think that's the terms he used, but he just doesn't want to have the whole
the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, the ramifications, that early in the season and stuff. So the way he's talking long term because 247 reports that Dion is in talk with USF in Colorado, and Willie Simmons was also mentioned for the USF job. We know the speculations. Dion's name has come up in every coaching search from here to Timbuktu. Coach Simmons at USF is interesting. He's still being Florida and everything, lower level. But is this good for HBCU? Or is this kind of just par for the course?
I think go ahead, Dan.
I think it's par for the course. I mean, it doesn't matter, honestly. Now, if he end up taking a job, that I think then that's whenever I can say if it's good or bad. But right now, I mean, it's just speculation. Nothing is on paper that we know of. So right now, it's just business as usual. Maybe somebody's trying to get a bigger contract, or
Yeah, I think in the big picture, I think it's a good thing for HBCU football because 5 years ago we would have never heard of a Power 5 team or a Group of 5 team considering an HBCU coach. It was almost looked at as if they weren't good enough to coach at that level. So even if neither one of them actually leaves for a bigger job, but just the fact that people are looking at HBCU football as viable candidates for some of these positions just kind of shows the way that people view HBCU football is changing, and they are realizing that there's good caliber coaches and quality coaches and capable coaches in HBCU football. So I think it's a positive just because of the way that the view is changing of HBCU football.
Ms. Nick asked the question: why is it an issue for him to move up? What makes him any different from any other coaches looking for opportunity? I don't think it's necessarily an issue with him moving up.
There's some people that ain't gonna be happy. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have the faction of the I told y'all he was just using us as a stepping stone to get to a bigger. You're gonna have that faction of people who just wanted to be right about Deion. But I don't think it's an issue with him moving up as long as it's done in a way that doesn't necessarily bring negativity to HBCUs or nothing like that. As long as he's making and he said, if he makes that move, it ain't necessarily about him. It's about it's about his assistants. It's about his assistants who don't have the money that he has, who are really could be changing their lives and the future generations of their families by making some of these moves if he were to take a job. So I think if his motives and stuff are right when he makes the move and he does it the right way, I don't think it'll be an issue except for to that group of people who are gonna be mad no matter what Deion does.
I mean, what do you say to the people who believe that once Deion leaves the HBCU or he leaves the SWAC, I'm sorry, that the lights will be turned off again for the SWAC as far as from the media concerns? We know that ain't gonna happen, but what do you say to those people?
I mean,
those people.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, brother.
Those people, if they say those people just came around when Deion came around anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have a focal point or a reference point, to point to. I think for me, if Deion Sanders left today, if he doesn't do anything else for Jackson State, he's done enough.
Oh, definitely.
Like if he doesn't do anything else, he's done enough. And there's 3 segments to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, in the entire 100-year history of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, there's only been one coach to get called up to coach in an FBS school, and that was Jay Hobson. All right,
is that the guy that went from Alcorn to Southern Miss?
Southern Miss, right? Mm-hmm. Deion Sanders would be the second if this were to happen, right? And the more it happens, the more qualified coaches you're going to get because coaches are going to say, "Well, you can make that move." From this league to the FBS, right? So that's a good thing, right? But then I think also you have a group of people who are lifelong Jackson State fans for about the last 16 months. They did a lot of talking. A lot of running off at the yap, and them ass cuttings that they was handing out. They kind of feel like they're on the way back. And they ain't happy about that because they've been talking $1 million worth of what for the last 16 months. And you have some people, to be honest with you, my point has always been this. Your brand has to be your brand. Your brand cannot be attached to a person.
Thanks.
Because once that person leaves, your brand is now gone.
Exactly.
And you can say whatever you want to say. In some factions, Jackson State's brand and Deion Sanders became one instead of one. Jackson State standing up on their own, and now you got people who are realistically worried about the amount of guys who will leave because Deion Sanders is leaving. Because those weren't Jackson State guys; those guys came because Deion Sanders was the coach.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do have one question. Is it? Wait, before I get that question, let me do this. Let's talk. I want to talk about this. BJ, one of the first of your top 5 Tuesday Twitter Spaces. When the conversation y'all had was HBCU coaches coaching trees.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking back, and y'all mentioned I didn't even realize Billy Napier started off as a grad assistant in HBCU. I didn't realize that. One name that I did know. That started off, I think it was at Alabama A&M or Alabama State. I think it was at A&M. John Chavis, who then
Alabama A&M.
Yep, ended up going to I think Tennessee after that, and then LSU, and he had several stops. But I was thinking about that, and I was like, man. And then it brings, I guess, to this question, because y'all asked about the coaching trees and stuff. So it brings me to this question. Is there any irony in the fact that the 2 names being listed for these 2 jobs started off or had their playing careers in Power 5s and then chose to coach HBCUs? versus some of the other coaches who've cut their teeth on the HBCU side.
I think that's just a coincidence.
Yeah, I think it's a little more of a coincidence than anything. Yeah.
I think the fact that Deion is obvious why Deion is being mentioned. I think the fact that Willie Simmons made the FCS playoffs last season is one of the reasons why his name is being mentioned, plus what he did on the national stage and how competitive they were with North Carolina, considering all the turmoil they had around him. I think those kind of will put his name out there on a national scale to a certain extent. I mean, obviously people in the Florida area know who he is, but on the national scene, I think the fact that he made the playoffs and turned it around with a competitive game versus a ACC championship contender is really what put his name on the map. Now, if we start to see some of these Prairie Views, Texas Southern, and teams like that start making runs at the playoffs and stuff like that, you might see some of their coaches start being mentioned and as more of household names. But until then, you gotta get on the radar, bro. Nobody's really paying attention to just strictly HBCU football except for Jackson State at this point on a national landscape.
Yeah.
Until you make the FCS playoffs, until you start doing some of those things, you're not really gonna be on the radar of some of those. So you got to start doing things like that.
Yeah, and I get it. So let me ask you this, because you mentioned and I first name popped in my head, Sam Washington, but the problem was he was going to Celebration Bowls and not FCS playoffs.
And same with Fobbs. You know what I mean? Like Roger Fobbs, his name was mentioned for coaching job. Maybe it wasn't Group of 5. His name was mentioned for the Northwestern State job when it came open, the McNeese job when it came open, and some of those type of jobs, which would be looked at as a step up to some. But to everybody else, it's a lateral FCS to FCS move. But in the big picture of national scale, because McNeese and the Southland schools make the playoffs every year, they're seen as a step up because you'll be going to a team where you can actually win the FCS national championship. So I think if Fobbs was making the playoffs and not the Celebration Bowl, he would have been considered for a Southern Miss or a ULM or a job like that, because he would be on a bigger name on the scene.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, we put that one to bed. I don't know. Just want to throw that out there. But FAMU, although they did not make it to the FCS playoffs or the SWAC, in football, the volleyball team earned their second straight women's volleyball championship, and the SWAC beating Alabama State for the second. Is that correct, for the second straight year?
I don't know if they beat Alabama State first. I know it's second straight championship though. Okay. But hey, while we talking about this though, shout out the Grambling volleyball team, man. They finished fourth in the SWAC, man. So honestly, it makes Coach Lucas look a little better, considering her team. The people she brought in was obviously talented enough to win. So shout out to Grambling. Shout out to them for even with all that they had to go through before the season to come out and compete the way they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, congratulations to them. On the MEAC side, Delaware State beat Coolin State for the MEAC championship.
That was supposed to be Coppin State. That that's how they
autocorrect. Because I saw Coolin, I was like, they got.
I was like, that's a pretty cool. Cool.
Yeah, that's my bad. I need to proofread a little bit.
Man, you got me out here looking like Ron Burgundy.
That boy gonna read whatever.
All right. So we already touched on the D2 playoffs with Benedict going against Wingate round 2 in Columbia, South Carolina. In the SWAC side, two classics. You got Alabama State continuing their tradition of the Turkey Day Classic. They will be playing UAPB this year.
Last ride for my dog, man.
Last ride for Skylar Perry. Do we want to? Let's go ahead and do this. Who you got?
Alabama State by a lot.
I feel like my boy finna gonna come out and make a statement in his last game, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough. Give me Bama State.
Bama State. I mean,
Clean sweep. Yeah. Now this is gonna be a little interesting. He said,
What's that? What?
Coolest.
I don't think.
Take it to a basketball game when they play more.
Chill out, man. Cool.
Hey, listen, Mike. Listen, we
Hashtag Aunt Petty.
Players mess up too.
Yeah, man.
But Bayou Classic, like we said,
You know what it is?
Winner. Well, I ain't gonna say
no, not the winner. Not the winner now.
If
Just
Southern
Southern.
wins,
Yeah, there you go.
They take the SWAC West.
Yeah, if you heard him right.
If Southern wins. If Grambling wins, let me ask you this. Okay, so
if Grambling win, they salvage this sorry season. Is what happens.
Okay.
You get a pay raise.
No. Hugh can put his G on his chest faithfully and proudly.
I tell you what,
he can sew it on instead of ironing it on. You know what I mean?
BJ, I don't know, man. Hey, BJ.
Listen, if you lose, they might take a G off that check. That's what they gonna take.
Facts.
So
Facts.
But who you got?
Let's start BJ first, man.
I already know who BJ gonna say. Go ahead, BJ. Who you got?
Man, come on, man.
You don't got no upset. You don't got no upset coming.
Man, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you why. Outside of me being an alumnus of Southern University, when the game has come down to us where it was win and go on to the championship, we won those. As a matter of fact, we're 6-3 in that scenario. In the Bayou Classic.
I like.
Most recently being 2018 and 2019, we won both of them. I think for everything that happened the way that it did last week, for us to even be in this position, I don't know, but there's a God somewhere. And man, we gonna take advantage of that, man. I really love this matchup. Our defensive line versus Grambling's offensive line has struggled. I like Calvez as an athlete. Not sure how accurate he can be in the pass game consistently. And he gonna have the boys on him, man. The biggest thing for us, man, is our offense being efficient and not turning the ball over. But I like us to get it done.
You can't be mad at that because you made some valid points, but Dave, don't start, Dave. Don't even start, dog. Don't even start that, man.
I know who's winning the battle of the band.
Lead the bass drum out of this, man. Lead the drum out of this.
Lead the bass drum out of this.
Lead the drum out of this, man. But I will say that you made some valid points. But your head coach, your special teams coordinator, your quarterback coach, your running back coach, your tight end coach, your defensive end coach, they all used to be at Grambling. And you said last week, the way things worked out last week, there is a God. I agree with you, there is, but you can't spell God without the G, baby.
Oh.
Can't spell God without the G. And last year we didn't have Grambling didn't have a shot to win that game. And you know what happened? The White Tiger got shot this year. The White Tiger came out and did what he had to do. The Jaguar Slayer did his thing. So I'm going Southern this year because Grambling ain't doing it back to back.
You did all that.
Daniel, you want to go?
Yeah. Honestly, Grambling before they played Texas Southern, they played. They showed that they can actually play some defense a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I think of course they get up for Southern. So I think it's going to be a lot closer game than what a lot of people are thinking. But man, I can't pick against Southern in this game. Coach Dooley, that offense is really good. I like the way Southern's defensive line is playing also. And Grambling, honestly, I don't think they have enough on offense. But I do think that defense is good enough to where they'll be able to possibly hold Southern a little bit. We'll see.
I'll tell you one thing about Grambling. That boy wearing number 28 is special.
Oh, that's what I was say. They got something on offense. They just ain't been giving him enough touches. And if they've been saving him for this game, I say give him to him 30 times. Give it to him 30 times. I mean, what do you got to lose? You ain't got another game after this. Give it to him 30 times.
So I've been thinking about this game, and I think it comes down to Coach Dooley, but not in the way you think. Coach Dooley show up, press sharp to the nines with his bow tie.
Where's Gators?
with his Gators with the bow tie on.
Uh,
I think Southern win in the close one. Well, if that man show up with that ascot, giving Southern by 30.
You know what? I'm gonna text him as soon as we get done. Hey, coach, Ascot game this weekend.
If he show up with that
I'm gonna
ascot,
text him.
give me Southern by 30. Listen,
I think it's gonna be close though. Honestly,
I think it's gonna be a good game.
I do want to say that for Baton Rouge as a whole, both teams in that city, both universities, you've got first year head coaches. One has already won the West in his division. You got one about to. Special time, I think it's significant. And if Southern can get two and win and get to, a rematch with Jackson, I'm not saying they can take it. I'm not saying they can win. But I think it's something special. It's a lot. It give you a lot of hope for next year.
Yeah,
Coach Dooley doing some good things. He had Southern looking real good at one point. They faced some adversity, but let's go.
I think Grambling is going to depend on. I think, like BJ said, how good Calvez plays, and how much they feed Maurice Washington. I think honestly that's what it comes down to. If you feed Maurice Washington and you're able to establish that run game, slow down that pass rush from Southern's defensive front, kind of slow the game down, control the game a little bit with that run game, you got a shot. But if you going 3 and out, and if you having to play from behind, and Dumas and them boys are able to pin their ears back and rush the quarterback, it might be a long day for Grambling.
Yeah. And I mean, if you got Hue pulling quarterbacks after every other series, I mean, hey, it's gonna be a long day.
You make one mistake, you get pulled. That ain't no way to play as a quarterback. Right. You overthinking. You worried about messing up. If Michael get pulled, if I throw this pass, you can't just go out there and play. So that's a valid point. I think they kind of settled in with Calvez at this point, though.
Yeah.
All right, we got last question for you guys. Fried turkey. Traditional turkey, ham.
Give me fried turkey all day, baby.
Oh, fried turkey, man. Fried turkey.
Fried turkey all day.
Fried turkey. But you ain't even ask the right one. Boiled crawfish turkey. You didn't even put that up in there, boy. Y'all don't know nothing about that.
That's something you cook?
That's something.
Hey, bro.
It's good.
Dog.
It's good.
I ain't talking about you, bro.
You talking about
Chuck? I was gonna put it up there. I'm not gonna do it. Chuck, Chuck, time out. You need to go to time out.
Oh man, Chuck, chill out, bro. That's part of the problem, though. Honestly,
if you're watching this via YouTube or Facebook, Chuck Hunt. The views of Chuck Hunt do not reflect the views of the Golden Boot, BJ Jones, or anybody associated with this podcast. I'm just saying. Trying to get us in trouble. Adam B said, "Thank you, Daniel. Thought I was the only one. Crawfish turkey. Interesting.
Man, you put it in crab boil.
Then Xavier. WTF is a crawfish turkey.
Hey, that's because you ain't cultured, Xavier.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, that man been around the world 5 different times. That man done seen some things, bro.
Man.
He ain't seen a crawfish turkey.
He ain't seen a crawfish turkey though.
I was trying crawfish turkey. So you boil
turkey in crab boil, crawfish boil.
Yeah, just like you fixing crawfish, except for you don't put crawfish. Instead, you put a turkey.
Why don't you call it turkey boil?
I might try that.
It's just like cooking turkey necks. You boil a turkey neck. You ever had boiled turkey necks?
Yeah.
Yeah, same concept.
I've never had boiled turkey necks and crawfish boil though, but you know what I mean. But
that's what you cook.
I'm gonna have to try.
See, that's why Xavier don't know, because he from. Nah, man, I ain't gonna say it.
Watch your mouth, boy.
I ain't gonna say it because I got attacked last time I said something about 318. Boy. People all the way up there.
You better watch your mouth. You from the 318? You from the 318?
I'm from 318, but it's Central Louisiana. It
don't matter. It's the same area code.
Once you go past Natchitoches,
area code. How you gonna talk about your area code?
No.
From 318.
318 part 2. Y'all 318 part
1. You the 318 that people just drive through. They don't even live there. They just drive through.
We ain't even gonna talk about Monroe, bro. We not talking.
You don't even live in the 318 no more. That's proof that people they don't even live there. They just
You're
drive
correct.
through it. They just drive through
You
it.
are correct. You are correct.
Through it, dog.
You are correct. 337.
I ain't gonna put that comment on, Xavier. That dude crazy, dog.
That's funny. It's not country, bro. It's Cajun.
That dude crazy.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna have to scroll past that because Dylan is he's at a good reading age right now. He's standing by me.
Look, he trying to read it right now.
Let's go close that chat out.
All right, let's go ahead and get up out of here. Hey, BJ, as always, we appreciate having you on. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, studio audience. I like how y'all got them trained like that. Studio audience. Thank you. Thank you.
They on point. They might get their checks today.
Hey, now I might say this. Now next week, we may be looking at 2 teams from the 225 from the city of Baton Rouge playing the championships game, man. So man, y'all want to do something special or what, man?
Hey, we might have to do something. You gonna be in Jackson if they make it?
What?
He already booked his ticket.
I don't know why he did. Booking his ticket for what? Grambling gonna win this weekend.
Oh man.
Let me tell you something. And just remember, we played Jackson. We played Jackson State in the SWAC championship twice.
Yeah, that's true.
We played them twice. And both times they beat us in the regular season.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, BJ, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going with Southern this week, but next week I'm not, bro. Like
I'm pretty sure ain't nobody gonna go with us next week. I'm pretty sure. Look, hey, before your boy leave and go out the door, wherever it is that he going, I gotta get that up out of it. Before you leave, thank you for what you do. But next week, the most important thing that I want you to do is I want you to bring your little golden belt and shine it up. Because you go hand it over.
Oh.
You heard it here.
First. I might root for Southern just so I can see that.
I want to see it too.
I might root for Southern this weekend just so I can see that next week.
I might for next week.
Hey, but shout out to speaking of Southern, shout out to that basketball team. You know, they knocked out Cal last week, this weekend. So big another SWAC over Pac-12, victory in basketball. So
they're gonna learn.
I better start sweeping on the SWAC.
Yeah, listen. Who else? Somebody else had a big win. I think on the women's side. There was another
Jackson State beat Texas Tech.
Yeah. It was 6. We talked about that. It was another. I want to say it was another one.
Said women's.
Yes. I want to say. We'll have to look it up. But hey, y'all got anything else where we get up out of here? Oh, I do. I do want to say that on behalf of the Golden Boot, it is Thanksgiving. I want to say that I'm thankful for all our guests that we've had on from HBCU, starting with Miss Love, Yard Talk HTX, Big Tom Callahan, Mo Carter, G from Swacking the Food, Jamie Walker, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Baron, Dr. Camille,
of course, our boy BJ Jones.
BJ as well. Want to thank y'all for coming.
You said Mo Carter?
Yeah, I was like,
okay,
third name. You got to put years out.
My teammate right there, man.
Our boy Zach from Bluebirds.
Yes. We want to thank all y'all. Dave Gardner came in for the.
We're not gonna thank Dave right now. So he's talking about the drum. We're gonna.
Yeah, Dave and Kevin Ball from coming on helping us to talk about Alabama A&M. Do want to thank everybody who tunes in and listens and watches and stuff every week on a Wednesday. I know some of y'all be coming from Bible study. We know how y'all is. Some of y'all need to go to Bible study. Xavier, Chuck, you been acting up tonight. You need to go pray.
It's his birthday. He already started drinking. That's what Chuck.
Okay, that's what it is. But I do want to, like I said, thank everybody for tuning in and stuff. Appreciate y'all, man. Really do. It means a lot to be welcomed into the HBCU space. For know how y'all can get, man.
Fact.
Because it's been brutal. Not to us. I'm talking about TIT each other.
Oh, yeah. we just sit back. We just sit back and watch the Family Feud. You know what I mean?
I take note.
I just sit back and watch the Family Feud. You know what I mean? You know, I just sitting over there eating my macaroni, watching, you know, the uncles and aunties over there arguing.
Man, if I can be messy and add a little fuel to the fire, I will too. So.
We know.
Yeah, but I do want to say that it's been and this ain't the end of nothing. It's gonna continue, but it's been a pleasure, you know, to be at the end of the season, and to have been able to bring a spotlight to not just the SWAC but the MEAC, the SIAC, the CIAA,
to everybody.
Tennessee State, when y'all do win 2 games. North Carolina A&T,
even though they in the CAA and all that, you know.
Yeah, or whatever conference they in. They changed their conference.
They the bougie A&T. You know, the one who moved on, and you know, she don't mess with us no more. She just come back.
Now Hampton the bougie one. Hampton don't. You'll never see.
That's true.
Hampton got lost in the sauce.
Yeah, Hampton is like the different world of HBCU. You know, they.
Speaking of different,
they are.
Somebody stole my Hillman shirt, man. My burgundy one. I don't know. Out in Arizona. Now, if I see it, never mind.
Man, if you don't end this
show,
out,
bro.
Yeah, my turkey.
We about to get canceled. We about to get canceled.
Hold on, Dylan, go step out for a second.
No, you ain't even got no crawfish boil yet, bro.
I gotta go base my turkey, and he said we was gonna end this show 20 minutes ago. Man, come on, man. Where the button that where it say wrap it?
Anybody finna eat that dry ass turkey you be cooking no way?
Round 1, fight.
What you cooking? What you cooking, huh?
Dressing, and it is fire.
No, it ain't.
I want to let you know. It is.
You gonna burn the cornbread and everything. It's gonna be terrible.
Hey, Dave, do you do rice? Do you do rice dressing since you so Cajun?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way you answer that, you lying. All right, y'all, we finna get up out of here.
I make a fire crawfish dressing. I don't want that.
Man, everything don't gotta be crawfish.
Yeah, that crawfish dressing knocking though. You pour that on, that be knocking.
It is though, but this man gonna have everything crawfish.
I'm Cajun.
Anyway.
And like that, we are.
Who is SWAC? If ain't SWAC, who is SWAC? If ain't SWAC, who is SWAC? If I ain't SWAC, who is SWAC? Baby, who is SWAC? Who is SWAC? Oh, who? I wake up motivated.